Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. This is Stunny Brown from the News Flash Network, the NFN Network, live and direct. Coming to y'all tonight, man. It's Tuesday, May 5th, 2020, Cinco de Mayo. It's Taco Tuesday. You know what I mean? It's about 10:33 p.m. Want to tap in with y'all, lock in, touch bases with y'all. Make sure that we all on the same page and we sharing this information and make sure that we all knowing what we need to know and keeping each other abreast of all of these various situations and different things that's going on that we need to be aware of. And if y'all might not listen to it from somebody else, maybe y'all listen to it from, one of your people, somebody that look like you, sound like you. Feel me? So let's get into it. So for those of y'all that don't know me and don't know where I'm at, I'm out here in New York City, 5 boroughs, Brooklyn, Brownsville, Queens, Manhattan, Bronx, Staten, Long Island. You know how it is out here. Well, if y'all, like I said, if y'all not familiar, I'm going to let y'all know what's going on in my neck of the woods. And then we're going to go ahead and touch bases on maybe your neck of the hoods as well. So, right now, the New York MTA is set to close for the first time in history since it opened. That's the entire subway system, and more than likely the buses is set to close starting tomorrow night or after midnight, about from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. After over 100 MTA employees have died from the COVID-19 virus, with ridership down 90%, there are mounting health and safety concerns over an increased amount of homeless people flocking to the almost abandoned trains and buses, turning it into like a mobile shelter. Now, in response, Governor Cuomo has ordered that starting May 6th, the New York MTA will and must close every night from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. to clean and disinfect the entire fleet to make it as safe as possible for all the essential workers and employees, as well as their families that rely on the system, as well as their families and their parents and loved ones to go ahead and get back and forth to work and keep the entire city moving and functioning. It's a great undertaking. Even though that we've been in lockdown and in quarantine, you got to give it up to all the essential workers out here. And that's all of the nurses, all of the doctors, all of the people handling our food, handling our deliveries, all of the people keeping all our necessary things moving, transportation, parks, whatever. If I left somebody out, forgive me. You know what I mean? I should have made a list. But, all of y'all know who these people are. Make sure y'all show y'all appreciation because they putting their life on the line to make sure that we still good. I mean, well, check out some of this footage right here from and you're like, if y'all not aware or don't know or don't live in and around the New York City area and have never seen what it's like on the subway system at night, like after hours, you might find a couple of homeless people here and there. You know what I mean? Sometimes it might get a little deep, but right now it's something different going on. Like I said, I can show y'all better than I can tell y'all. Check the footage.
The problem has always been there. Now, a global health crisis has made homelessness on the subway more visible than ever before.
This is the last stop on this train.
Pools of blood and homeless people occupying most cars at the R train station in Bay Ridge. We caught just a glimpse of the problem, but it's nothing compared to what workers are experiencing.
All these things have always been there. But when you're in the middle of a pandemic, you don't expect certain things to continue to happen and go on. And, it's just been tough for us workers.
These graphic and disturbing images belong to MTA employees like Tramell Thompson, a train conductor on the Q line. They're essential workers who arrive at their jobs to find feces, urine, and used syringes. For the last 6 years, Thompson says he's seen a vicious cycle of blame allow problems and safety risks to continue.
The MTA is saying it's the mayor. The governor is saying that it's the mayor. So you have 3 entities pointing their fingers at each other, and who's suffering? You and I.
All while nearly 2,000 MTA workers have contracted coronavirus. Nearly 100 have died.
The state runs the MTA, clearly. The state has a whole lot of the pieces to the puzzle here.
We sent these troubling images to the mayor's office asking for a response. A representative said, quote, "I really think you'd want to ask the MTA about this." Earlier this year, Mayor de Blasio introduced Thrive NYC, a $1 billion initiative to address mental illness in New York City. An initiative MTA workers say they haven't seen manifest itself yet.
You got the ones who have EDPs, emotionally disturbed persons. Those are the ones that really need the help.
Despite the conditions, Trammell says most homeless are just looking to sleep and eat on trains.
The city and the state failed them, but can the city and the state make them hostages to what the city and state believe in is right? You know, these homeless individuals, they have choices also.
Trammell says it's worse than he's ever seen it, rivaling the subway's worst years.
You have to lean on your beliefs, your faith, religion, whatever it is, when you have a job like this, especially dealing with the public in New York City.
Governor Cuomo is demanding the MTA come up with a plan on how to disinfect every train every night by the end of this week. We also reached out to Mayor de Blasio's office and the MTA, but our requests for comment have not been answered. In Bay Ridge, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
They came up with a plan. They can disinfect all trains and buses every night. It can best be done by stopping train service from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. every night during the pandemic so they can actually perform this service. Now, remember the context that we're in this pandemic. Ridership is down 92%. 1 to 5 are these slow hours, 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. It's the lowest ridership. Estimate is about 10,000 people ride the system overall during that period of time. So the MTA will launch what they call the Essential Connector Program. They'll have buses, dollar vans, and if necessary, will provide for-hire vehicles to transport a person. The Uber, the Lyft, the via vehicles at no cost to the essential worker during those hours to provide transport. So people who need transportation during 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. can have it, will have it, even to the extent of a for-hire vehicle paid for by the MTA. Remember, 1 a.m. to 5 a.m., we don't have bars open, we don't have restaurants open, so you don't have a lot of traffic that you would normally have. You do have essential workers who are using our trains and subways, and they will have transportation during that period of time.
Now, it's a lot of people that's wondering, why is that happening now? Including myself. Why is it happening now? Because I know it's happening now because a lot of noise was being made. People wasn't happy. The workers out there that's having to work in that, they wasn't happy. So a lot of noise was being made. It got to the peoples. It got that public attention, which is what really changes the pace of anything that's not going your way. You put some public spotlight on it, and they get to the masses at large, and the millions across the nation start seeing it. People start recognizing that a change needed to be made, must be made. So that change needed to be made. It's being made. It's happening. But at the same time, you see Governor Cuomo, he's still for the people. I can't take nothing away from him. He works for the people, and he does what needs to get done. He still got something in place for the essential workers, even though they're going to put a pause on transportation. There's usually the city that never sleeps, but they're going to put a pause on the transportation for the trains and the buses while that's being cleaned and disinfected to keep everybody safe and healthy. But it's still going to be a contingency plan in place to keep people moving right along and get the essential workers where they need to be out here. They're the superheroes out here right now in this fight. And, you gotta support them in any way, shape, and form that you can. And I'm happy to see that that's happening for them, man. Take care of them. Next, we're going to get into something. Excuse me. Next, we're going to get in something right here that definitely rubbed me the wrong way. It rubbed me the wrong way every time I hear about any type of incident of this nature happening where the powers that be, the cops, the people that's supposed to be protecting, is now abusing authority and turning what could just be a regular day at the job into something that could become full blown and turn into something very, very negative for all parties involved. So a New York City police officer was placed on modified duty after video surfaced of a weekend arrest. And we're going to call this dude out because we need him named. I mean, and some of the other information I'm going to give y'all, his badge number is listed too, even though he riding the pond right now. You know, they sat him down and he behind the desk, took his badge and took his gun. Maybe he got his badge, took his gun and sat him down. But this is Officer Francis X. Garcia. Officer Francis X. Garcia was stripped of his gun and badge, and an investigation has been launched by the Internal Affairs Bureau regarding the arrest in Lower Manhattan this weekend. CNN reached out to Garcia for comment. The video of the incident obtained by CNN shows a scuffle between a person and officers before that person is put in handcuffs while on the ground. One officer tells people around him to move back while holding a stun gun in his hand. The video then shows a person approach the officer before the officer pulls them to the ground, punching and slapping them. The officer moves in to assist, the video shows. NYPD Commissioner Dermot Shea addressed the incident Monday after video of the arrest circulated on social media. A number of people were not wearing masks when plainclothes officers responded to the location on Saturday, Shea explained, allegedly. Officers observed the group in violation of social distancing order and instructed the group to disperse. According to a press release from the NYPD issued Sunday, this is also allegedly, of course, it's the NYPD side of the story. Now, nice weather sends people into Central Park after weeks stuck at home, and some people in the group complied while others refused, the release states. A bag of marijuana was in plain view, and a person became aggressive toward officers and resisted arrest. And they claim a bag of marijuana was in plain view. Who keeps a bag of marijuana in plain view? And even if it was a bag of marijuana in plain view, it's damn near legal here. So we're talking about a summons and keep it moving. Now, they claim that the bag of marijuana was in plain view when one person became aggressive towards officers and resisted arrest, according to the release. One person tried to intervene and was arrested before a third person, who had been ordered to disperse, took a fighting stance against the officer, the release said. We're going to see the video in a minute. Two people seen in the first part of the video, a 31-year-old man and a 22-year-old woman, were both charged with resisting arrest, obstructing governmental administration, criminal possession of a weapon, and 2 counts of disorderly conduct, according to the release. The 31-year-old man was also charged with unlawful possession of a weapon. A second man, 33, seen in the end of the video, had been charged with assault on a police officer, menacing, resisting arrest, obstructing governmental administration, and 2 counts of disorderly conduct, according to police. Officers recovered $3,000 in cash and marijuana at the scene. So now they try to set the stage. Even though this is just a report of what happened that day, all of these details are in here setting the stage as if it was a group. It goes from a group out, getting away to enjoy some fresh air during the lockdown and corona quarantine, to now seemingly a group of drug dealers with their product and profit in the park for all the citizens to see with the marijuana out in the open. This is what they want you to believe here. So, once again, those are just my thoughts, my views. I mean, so those are some of the facts that y'all getting right there, you already know we don't tolerate nobody on the street putting hands on us, on you and your family, none of that. And it doesn't matter if they got a badge or not. State your business. If it's a piece of paper that got to get written on with a fine, give it. If it's handcuffs, do that. Anything else is a straight violation, and it need to be met with the same type of energy. Period. But yo, y'all watch this footage right here. Let me know what you think.
Move the fuck back. Move the fuck back. What are you flexing for? Don't flex. You got a lot of stuff too. Look. He ain't even do nothing. He's home. He ain't even do nothing. He ain't even do nothing. Look. He ain't even do nothing. He ain't even do nothing. He's pussy. That nigga pussy. That nigga pussy. You fuck out of here. Yo. I got all that. I got all that. He got all that. That's right. Clean up your up. Clean the fucking street up. Clean the street up. Clean the fucking street up now. Back up. Back up. Back up. Back up. Back up. And I ain't got none. Suck my dick. You need mine. That's the point, man. That's the point. I got all that shit. I'm about to, yo, I got it uploading right now. It's uploading right now, nigga. It's uploading right now. Look at it. They acting crazy, man. Look at it. 6 feet, right? Back up.
Yeah. So you see exactly what I'm talking about. You see exactly what I'm saying. You see how he approached the situation off the top, right? You see the energy he came over there with. That's not how you handle that. You know what I mean? He felt real comfortable with that pointed at the young brother. Felt real comfortable with that on him. Even though it was the plastique, the taser action. That was his regular. And so much his regular, he couldn't even stop himself. You know what I mean? Like what you call it, involuntary actions. He was just so caught up in the hype of it all. You see the young brother had on flip-flops. Now, if he wasn't Bruce Lee status, Jet Li status, Ip Man, Muhammad Ali, Mayweather status, what he was going to do was some flip-flops. Little lightweight dude, you out there with all the boys. Anyway, man. We're gonna touch. I have to touch. I get with my peoples on that, man. Touch on that on another show, son. Y'all put that in the comments. Let me know what y'all thinking, what y'all feeling. Get back to it. And other sad news, man. First off, let me just make a general statement. This right here, we're going to be addressing black on black crime. A lot of people ain't been saying it lately. Black lives matter. Yes, they do. All lives matter. At the same time, we're talking about when it comes to life, you got to respect life. And if you don't respect life, you know what will come from that. So we can't go forward. We can't go forward and be expecting anybody to show us love and respect, and we ain't loving and respecting ourselves. Even in the height of this pandemic, with all of this going on, there's over 71,000 people that have died in the United States in the past few weeks. A lot of people can't even wrap their head around that. A lot of people ain't seen 71,000 of anything. You know what I mean? That's a great number. One of the doctors was putting it in perspective, and he was like, that's 3 Boeing jets full of people every few hours for some odd. You know what I mean? You could just imagine that. You could just imagine 3 Boeing jets full of bodies. You're talking about 3 of those every 3 hours. So you get to 71,000. You know what I mean? So in the midst of all of that happening, it's still people running around out here in these streets committing 187s. You know what I mean? Everybody, it's crime. Crime been here since the beginning. I don't know if we're going to ever be able to do away with it. But it's one thing to go from crime, nonviolent crime to violent crime. And when we talk about violent crime, you know what's at the top of that? What's at the top of that violent crime right there? You're talking where people is getting killed and bodied or assaulted to the point of whatever it may, injuries, disfigurement, whatever. Now, in the space that we've been locked in like this, it's been a lot of that going on. I just heard about a 51-year-old man, somebody else that had got, a 51-year-old man got shot in the head here. Almost got a little confused because of what we're about to talk about. Somewhere here in New York City, I didn't bother to get all of the facts because I didn't even want to pinpoint it. I didn't want to get all of the, not to disrespect the people, the people that have lost loved ones or affected by it, not to disrespect that. I just didn't want to put too much of a spotlight on all of that negative. Is, like I said, one of the reasons why y'all I ain't even saying one of the reasons why y'all haven't seen me in a minute and putting y'all on to this is because I felt that it was a nice body of work that was put in regards to letting y'all know what was going on and how serious it was and how serious our people needed to take it. To me, it seemed as if, because they calling this the epicenter right here, meaning it wasn't happening nowhere worse than right here in New York City in regards to the rate of transmission and the rate that the people was being hospitalized and people was dying in regards to the coronavirus and COVID-19. With all of that in mind, in the highlight of with all of that in mind, at the pinnacle and that going on, and us locked into it and could barely deal with each other and go out and be with our loved ones, whether they was in good health or bad health, or unfortunately, on the way out, not able to be with our loved ones, while in the midst of that, cats is out here killing one another still. And once again, like I was saying, before we get into this, we can't expect nobody to respect us or our lives if we not respecting us and our lives. That being said, I'm gonna get into this right here. Now, in Michigan, there was a security guard shot and killed for telling somebody to put on a face mask. There's a man out here, a essential worker, out here doing this job, trying to help you and help you to help others. Even if by chance you have forgot to put your mask on, he's trying to tell these people to put the mask on. And doing that cost him his life. 3 family members have been charged in the killing of a security guard who told a customer at a Michigan Family Dollar store to wear a state-mandated face mask, officials said on Monday. Calvin Munnerlin, 43, died at a Flint hospital after he was shot in the head Friday, said Michigan State Police Lieutenant David Kaiser. Ramonier Trayvon Bishop, 23, Larry Edward Teague, 44, and Sharmell Lash Teague, 45, have been charged with first-degree premeditated murder along with other charges. The Genesee County Prosecutor's Office said in a statement on Monday. Now, Sharmell and Larry Teague are married, and Bishop is Sharmell's son, according to the prosecutor's office. From all indications, Mr. Munelin was simply doing his job in upholding the governor's executive order related to the COVID-19 pandemic for the safety of store employees and customers, Genesee County Prosecutor David Layton said in a statement. Now, Munelin got into a verbal altercation with Sharmell Teague after telling Teague's daughter she needed a mask, according to the prosecutor's office. Surveillance video confirms the incident, Layton said. Sharmell Teague's daughter left the store, but Teague began yelling at Munelin, who then told her to leave the store and instructed the cashier not to serve her, the prosecutor's office had also said. Under an executive order from Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, all retail employees and customers have to wear a mask. Footage showed that immediately after the altercation, the woman left in the SUV, but about 20 minutes later, the SUV returned. Two men identified as Bishop and Larry Teague entered the store, according to the statement. One of them yelled at Munelin about disrespecting his wife, Layton said. The other man, later identified as Bishop, then allegedly shot the security guard, the statement said. This is senseless. This is senseless. Over a mask. This is what Munelin's cousins was crying out, Tina James told a CNN affiliate. Now, this is not the way to do things right now. Now, police for a moment, they were looking for Larry Teague and Bishop, but to my understanding, they have Sharmell Teague is in custody and awaiting arraignment on her charges in the 67th District Court. And in addition to the murder charge, Bishop also faces charges of felony firearm and carrying a concealed weapon, the prosecutor's office said. Larry Teague also faces 2 felony firearm-related charges, 1 charge of a felon in possession of a firearm, 1 charge of carrying a concealed weapon, and 1 of violating the governor's executive order, according to the prosecutor's office. And Sharmell Teague also faces a felony firearm charge. The statement states she doesn't have a lawyer just as yet. Okay. Trying to keep up with the pace and trying to make sure that y'all got all of the information as well as being able to get these visuals. I was probably speaking a little fast. I hope I was speaking clear enough for all of y'all to grasp the details and understand what took place in this story right here. Now, we all seen this before. I've seen stuff like this take place since I was a kid. You know, because, you know, whether a man is a stand-up man, a do-right type of man, or a man is a straight-up, you know, even if he's if he's a little thugged out, if he's a gangster, or even if he's a straight suicidal maniac, homicidal maniac, a lot of times, more times than not, even if, you know what I mean, even if he disrespecting and beating the lady, ain't nobody else about to disrespect and beat the lady. But regardless of that, what I'm saying is the queens are held to a different, standard, not a different standard. The queens we hold up high to the point to whereas we built and born and bred to protect the queen at all costs, any given moment, at all times. A lot of the wrong lady, the wrong young lady, the wrong queen, not understanding how power that she has that power to wield it recklessly. When I say that, what I mean is, and what I was saying, I seen it happen is, young lady gets into some, young lady is mad for whatever the reason, hasn't been violated, hasn't really been wrong, but her feelings are hurt. Rather than suck that up, take that and handle that, she goes to whatever man is in her life, whether it be the person that she's with or her family members, and now doctors up the story. Juices, yo, you know, at the end of the day, she got bumped into, but now she's telling them, yeah, he pushed me, then looked at me, and you know, and said what? Yeah, that changes the whole context of the story. Of course, the boys is gonna come over there with that energy. So now this lady, I don't know her mindset, my state. From the actions alone, most of us can already make that out for ourselves. But for her to go ahead, she knew the power she wielded, and she wielded it recklessly, with no thought of nobody's life. You know what I mean? Nobody's feeling, because when she left there, she knew the type of energy dudes was gonna come back with. On the way back, she knew the type of energy that they was moving with. This was part of the plan. Yo, man, I'm gonna let y'all watch this footage right here.
Good evening, everybody. We begin with the latest on a Flint murder from Friday. The two men you're looking at here still at large tonight. Police actively searching for them. 23-year-old Ramonier Trayvon Bishop on the left, 44-year-old Larry Edward Teague Jr. on the right. Both wanted on first-degree premeditated murder, among other charges. They could face life in prison. They are accused, along with a third person, of killing a Family Dollar security guard in Flint over that store's requirement for customers to wear face masks. Mid-Michigan Now's Alicia Bergio is live outside that Family Dollar tonight. Alicia, this story is heartbreaking on several levels. What do we know at this point?
Yes, it really is, Mike. Now, Prosecutor Layton says those two suspects, 23-year-old Ramon Bishop and 44-year-old Larry Teague, are still on the loose and are considered armed and dangerous. That third female suspect is in custody and is so far cooperating, according to Prosecutor Layton. Now, Layton says on Friday the female suspect went to Family Dollar with her daughter. The female suspect got into an argument with the security guard, Kelvin Munnerlin, over her daughter not wearing a mask. The suspect was forced to leave and later came back with her son, Bishop, and husband, Teague. According to investigators, the men went into the store and argued with Munnerlin over disrespecting their wife and mother. Police say the argument escalated, and that's when investigators say Bishop pulled out a gun, shot Munnerlin in the head, and took off. Munnerlin later died in the hospital.
Based on this, we believe we have probable cause for all the crimes charged today against the named suspects. As in any criminal case, the accused individuals are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
Each suspect is charged with first-degree premeditated murder, felony firearm, along with several other charges. Layton says he's confident Michigan State Police will track down both Teague and Bishop. He says the death of Munnerlin is a huge loss for this community. For now, live in Flint, Alicia Bergio, Mid-Michigan Now.
All right, Alicia, thank you for the live report there. Governor Gretchen Whitmer is sending her condolences to Munnerlin's family tonight. Asked about the shooting during her coronavirus briefing this afternoon, she expressed great disappointment.
It's really important that as people go into stores, they think about all the people that are in there that are putting their lives on the line to keep serving us. And so I send my condolences to the family of the security guard, and I ask that all Michiganders do the right thing, keep their wits about them, and take actions to protect themselves and others in this incredibly stressful time that we're all navigating together.
A family mourning the loss of the security guard they say was shot and killed at a Family Dollar in Flint on Friday. Tonight, they're speaking out. Mid-Michigan Now's Alicia Bergio is live in Flint. Alicia, this is obviously devastating for the family.
Yes, Kristen, as you can imagine, it's difficult for this family to even put their pain into words. They say that Kelvin Munnerlyn was one of a kind, and they want the community to always remember that.
It can't be real. My babies need a daddy.
Heartbreak and devastation as Latrina Sims Munnerlyn grapples with the fact her husband of 10 years, Kelvin Munnerlyn, is no longer here.
I'm just suffocating. I feel like a knife is in my chest.
Munnerlyn says Kelvin worked as a security guard at Family Dollar on 5th Avenue in Flint for just over a year. On Friday, Michigan State Police say a man was shot in the head while on duty at the store, later dying in the hospital. This family says that was Kelvin.
I just want to hear his voice again.
DeMonte Munnerlyn is Kelvin's oldest son and says his dad was always a protector, taking his job very seriously.
Every time I call him, look, son, I'm at work. I'll call you back later.
He's always done security. He's done security in nightclubs, in the worst of the worst nightclubs. And nobody still ever just thought to do my baby like that.
The family and close friends say Kelvin was known as a gentle giant, someone you could confide in, an all-around great guy.
He gave you the shirt off his back, the food off his table. He was the life of the party.
As this family is stricken with the loss of their husband, father, and friend.
Oh, God.
They ask the community to carry on Kelvin's legacy.
Remember him as an amazing, outgoing person.
I'm going to try to live for him.
To pray for us, that's all. I just need y'all to pray for us.
The family is planning on holding a vigil tonight in their cars at Family Dollar in honor of Kelvin. They plan to release balloons in his memory. The vigil starts tonight at 8:30 and is open to the public. For now, live in Flint, Alicia Bergio, Mid-Michigan Now.
All right, thanks, Alicia. The Genesee County Prosecutor's Office plans to hold a press conference tomorrow with more information about this shooting. We'll, of course, keep you updated with the very latest.
Very sad, very unfortunate. Our prayers and condolences go out to the Munnerlyn family, the family and friends of Kelvin Munnerlyn out there in Michigan. Y'all hold y'all head, y'all stay strong, and I pray that y'all get the justice that y'all deserve. Now, another note. Now, I kind of been wanting to touch on this dude. You know, my daughters, and they don't even like to say this guy's name. 45. Number 45. Y'all know who I'm talking about. His official title, I don't even like saying it, but you know how we say it on the blocks. This dude, Trump. What he doing right now, Trump, or what he need to do, or what he would want, what he doing right now. It's like, if you ever seen the image of an octopus in the old cartoons, and they in some kind of a boat, and the boat got holes all over it, and the octopus got arms everywhere trying to plug up the holes so the boat don't sink. That's what Trump is doing. That's his whole operation right now. You plug up one hole, spring a leak somewhere else. You plug up that one, spring a leak somewhere else. So you already know. He ain't on the same. One of the reasons why I ain't cover him is because it's almost like beating a dead horse. We all know what the problems is. There's no fix for it. It's seeing everything that they tried ain't work. What's the purpose of me beating that dead horse too? Y'all know what it is. I'm hoping that y'all do what y'all need to do, and when the time comes, he was out of there. But now we got bigger problems on our hands. We got something that we got to get through now before we can even deal with that then. So you already know. This guy's out there on stage freestyling, making up, he's coming and trying to pull rabbits out his sleeve, saying whatever he could do. You know, he might as, you know, no disrespect to the homies and the people's with it. But he might as well have Tourette syndrome, because he just be spitting out and uncontrolled verbal usage this guy's running with. He's in complete disagreement with the top medical staff that's giving him all of the information that he needs in order to instruct the people correctly so that they do what they need to do, and as not to alarm the people, and as so to ease the people's minds. But he's doing just the opposite of that. And what I was speaking is, I'm speaking about Dr. Fauci. You know, they wanted Dr. Fauci in front of the panel to answer these questions. You can imagine what they want. If y'all been keeping up with that back and forth on news and these press releases, then you know what I'm talking about. They couldn't get him there. They preventing Fauci from speaking right now, unless I believe it's a all Republican panel. But they can't get Fauci. That was one hole they plugged up. There's a hole over there. His other big toes on something over there, so they can't even focus on this right now. This is happening. You know what I mean? So right now, ousted vaccine expert files whistleblower complaint stating warnings of the dangers of COVID-19 were ignored and he was fired in retaliation. Everything that we've been thinking is, well, I'm going to say me, because I don't know about y'all. I hope y'all tuned into this. You know, a lot of y'all say, why tune in? What can I do? You never know what you could do. You know, you've seen the power of unity before in the past, and you know the power of unity. You just have yet to unify and use your power, but you know what it could do. You've seen it happen all the time. So let me repeat that and see if y'all can wrap y'all head around that. Ousted. I mean, they kicked this dude out. Ousted vaccine expert files whistleblower complaint stating warnings of the dangers of COVID-19 were ignored and he was fired in retaliation. Dr. Rick Bright, the ousted director of the office involved in developing a coronavirus vaccine, formally filed an extensive whistleblower complaint Tuesday alleging his early warnings about the coronavirus were ignored and that his caution at a treatment favored by President Donald Trump led to his removal. Now, Bright had led the Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority since 2016 until last month when he was reassigned to a narrower position at the National Institutes of Health. In his whistleblower complaint, Bright says he raised concerns about U.S. preparedness for coronavirus starting in January, but was met with indifference, which then developed into hostility by leaders at the Department of Health and Human Services. His attorneys argue that Bright's removal from his post amounts to a violation of the Whistleblower Protection Act, claiming that Bright has engaged in numerous instances of protected activity. In the complaint, he says he is seeking reinstatement as BARDA's director and asking for a full investigation. So, from the time this guy got in office, everybody suspected that he was in there operating the most important office in the nation, operating the presidency of the United States as if it was a reality show. Same way that he conducted his campaign, same way that he was running the entire nation is what people, people that aren't, that aren't wearing Make America MAGA hats. You know what I mean? People that's not on the MAGA team. This is what they've been seeing. What they've been thinking. This is what I've been thinking. Dude is in there freestyling, running this joint like he's a reality show. It's The Apprentice. You're not with me? Out of here. Already, it came in there, and it's just been a series of that left and right, left and right. Man, you could mess around, or you probably sneeze and don't say bless you. Oh, he's out of there. You can imagine the type of nonsense going on in there. And that's the type of thing that anybody with a good head on their shoulder and some common sense in them, this is the type of things that you could know, you feel, and you know what's going on in there. Here, once again, too many holes in the shit to plug up. We now getting another clear glimpse of that right now. and forget all of the dramatics, all of the comedy, because the dude was a straight clown. That's how I was looking at him. But anybody holding a gun or that could push the button on nuclear arms, start wars, get people killed, that person ain't a clown no more. You know, right? He's still a clown, but he's dangerous. And that's what this guy is, yo. Dangerous. And from the point to where he disbanded and terminated the entire office that would have helped us prepare for this to begin with. The people that plan and prepare for pandemics that pop off. Plan and prepare for pandemics that pop off. He got rid of the entire team. Terminated. And then here, another man coming to him, letting them know, like, what's happening across the waters is going to touch down over here. And when it hit, we need to be ready in a certain way. And basically that medication that you're trying to push and fast forward to the people in the public, medication that you're trying to push and fast forward to the people in the public, that right there, the one that you probably stand to gain profits on the more that it moves. And he telling you that this joint ain't, it's not the cure all. Next thing you know, he's out of there. But he's out of there, and he out of there, and he ain't no little chump dude. He ain't scared to go ahead and start letting these people know exactly what it is and what was going on in there. So we're about to end up watching that like it's a movie. Because, you know what I mean? When I was younger, I can't even front. I was about to say when I was younger, I watched the news. Man. When I was younger, I watched the news. It's one of the reasons why I'm doing this right here. Like, I watch the news just about every day. You know what I mean? If I can't watch the news, I'm tuning into the news. I'm going to read it on the emails and the internet. I'm lock in on the YouTube, and between the various different people that's providing this media, I'm going to lock in. I'm hoping that y'all locking in too, because the older that you get, the more these things affect you directly. And if it ain't affecting you now, it'll affect you in the future. And if it ain't affecting you, it's going to affect your family, your parents, your kids. So it would be in your best interest to pay attention to what's happening in and around you when it comes down to these politics and your government and how it's being ran. You know what I mean? You already see how I'm moving. I probably ain't going to make it to the White House. But one of y'all might. You know what I mean? We all got to do our part. We all got to play our part and play our position in order to make this thing move, in order to make this machine move and affect the change that we're looking for. You want to change, you got to be that change. That's how that goes. You know. And then hip-hop news. Hip-hop. DJ Jazzy Jeff had contracted COVID-19 and became so severely ill that he began to hallucinate and was in bed for 10 days in a near comatose state, to whereas he has no memory of those 10 days. Now, fortunately, he was able to beat it and recover, but hasn't left the house because he's so shaken by the whole ordeal that he's scared to go outdoors. You know what I mean? Now, that's not nothing to take lightly. You know what I mean? When you start seeing your life flash before your eyes and start thinking that, yo, this might be your time, you start moving a little differently, man. Growing up, how I grew up, you see people come close to death, and it could change you in a lot of different ways. You know what I mean? Those that go through it, or those that seen it, been in and around it, you know what I'm talking about, man. It could change you. For the good, for the worse, it could change you. Big up to Jazzy Jeff, yo. Jazzy Jeff and his family, man. We glad that you better and you pulled through. show y'all some footage from the homies, from the big homies.
I came home from my trip, like I feel like I'm coming down with something, and got in the bed, don't remember the next 10 days.
Wow.
I had a temperature that reached about 103. I had the chills. I lost sense of smell. I lost sense of taste.
Wow.
They gave me a flu test.
They couldn't even give you a test.
No. And when I went and got the chest x-ray, she came in and she said, you have pneumonia in both your lungs.
Wow. Yeah, that was scary because, you know, Lynette doesn't panic, and she called me with the panic vibes.
Yeah.
So I just immediately called D Nice to see if he would be available.
Listen.
I was like, not my DJ.
Hey, I ain't ready yet. Unfortunately, people think that we're at the end, and I think we are really at the beginning.
Man, other sad news, some of y'all might already know this, but I just wanted to go ahead and lock it in with the NFN News Flash Network officially. And go ahead and salute this brother right here. Bronx, New York hip-hop recording artist Fred the Godson, a.k.a. Gordo. Gordo. I had the pleasure of meeting the brother. Met the brother a few times. I had just had the pleasure of chilling with him, like, you know. Oh, y'all probably don't know, right? If y'all know, my whole demeanor just changed. I mean, I'm trying to stay as professional as possible to deliver y'all this news, but we doing hip hop news now. If y'all didn't know, I'm also a recording artist. My name is the same name that I introduced myself to when we started the program. However, I wear a few different hats. So I'm also a recording artist, a hip hop recording artist, spitter, MC. So as I was chilling with, you know, the homie Fred the Godson, had the pleasure of being out there rocking with him. My people from OUC Films was doing some film work for the God. I was catching the behind the scenes work for my other situation, my podcast situation. Fuck Out of Here podcast with my team, my partner, Stuck Beezy, DJ Kruger. These dudes was moving around doing some other things, and I was on set still, so I was just catching some footage. Snapped a couple of flicks with the God, Fred the God, Gordo. You know what I mean? Him and the homie Hills was working on one of these joints. You know what I mean? That's going to be coming soon once, you know, in honor and celebration of his life after they get through what they dealing with right now. I'm certain y'all going to get blessed. Get blessed. Gonna get blessed with a bunch of new music, because that dude, from what I could see, he was a workaholic. I ain't even going to act like I know him like that, but mad pictures and footage in the studio. What that mean? Anyway, salute, condolences. Let me just get into it. You know what I mean? I wanted to salute to God officially. Now, unfortunately, Fred the God, he lost his fight against COVID-19 after fighting the virus and his symptoms, ultimately having to be hospitalized. You know, loved ones believed that he would beat it and get back to doing what he's known for. But unfortunately, he passed due to complications from the COVID-19. My prayers and condolences go out to his family and friends, and to the family and friends of all of those in New York City and around the world that have lost someone due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah, once you start dropping that heavy information, you start thinking back to how serious and impactful those words are that you're saying. Then you start realizing, like, that's one of the reasons why I hadn't been back up here. I wanted to come back up here with some, you know what I mean, something to make y'all feel good, take y'all mind off and away from some of the things that we're dealing with right now. But y'all know, like I know, sometimes it's playtime, sometimes we could, you know, sometimes we could goof off. Like my man be saying, goofy. You know what I mean? Sometimes you could goof off. Sometimes it ain't no time for play, and it ain't no room for no mistakes. And we just happen to be locked into one of them phases right now where we got to do just that. We got to stay diligent and on top of our situations. Even if they opening up the rest of the world, you still move like it ain't open. It ain't open for you. I mean, don't be rushing out here to get caught up in any of this nonsense. I mean, if anyone in the New York City area needs to be tested or needs help with food, public assistance, rent, cleaning supplies, masks, PPE, contact 311. And more than likely, your local church, community center, outreach team. You know what I mean? Holla at these people, network, put the word out, because it's a lot of organizations that's out here taking care of the people and providing a lot of resources. Personally, I already got a few food packages delivered just to see what was in there, and to make sure that I could get them to some of my neighbors who are a little elderly and don't, might have mobility issues and things like that. So I already got some packages delivered and dropped off some packages. Thinking about getting some more, but we got to get it in, got to get it out. More importantly, we would like to get it to the people that need it. You know what I mean? So let us know what's going on. Holla at 311. I'm part of the Brownsville Community Justice Center, BCJC, in Brooklyn, Brownsville. Make sure y'all reach out to us. Y'all see his flag in the purple. I'll drop some flyers and some information on the episode so that y'all could tap in. I mean, if y'all in New York, or so if y'all somewhere else and you know somebody in New York that need, point them in the direction of these resources. Now, also, as I was getting a little carried away, getting a little ahead of myself, because I really wanted to speak on this. As the nation and the world are opening back up for business, what's most important to remember is that the government knew this was coming, but was ill prepared to handle it. After Trump fired the pandemic response team and not heeding the warnings of the WHO, they've been pushing for this since the virus was in its climax, and would have done it sooner if not for the outcry of the leading health professionals in public. Now, after Los Angeles opened its beaches early following a decline in hospitalizations of COVID-19 patients, later on they had to close them again after the highest spike of 180 plus patients being admitted. Now, this was after the numbers had dropped. The numbers was low. Then they opened the beaches. The beaches was packed. The weather was good. People thought it was a go, but it's not a go. And that's what the people are saying right now. That's what all of the medical professionals are saying right now. All of the leaders of these states that's not Republican, that's not in league and rocking MAGA hats, or got the MAGA decal on the car. Everybody that's against that is saying not to open the state, not to open for business. Don't open the state. Don't open the beaches, the parks, because the numbers are going down in a few places. The minute that you open all of that back up, as we just witnessed in Los Angeles, the numbers is going to go back up. So I really need y'all to think, man. Like, one of the things, I'm going to say this right here. Maybe you could see me. Maybe you could understand it. Maybe you could feel it. Especially if you ain't heard it from these people like I heard it today. I mean, I heard it and was waiting for the drop line. Yo, what's the answer? Dude said, yo, what's the cost of a life? How much is a life worth? What's the cost of a human life? Regardless of the color. What's the cost of a human life? How much is it worth? If you thinking about a number, you wrong. If you thinking about a number, you wrong. Human life is priceless. That was the answer that I was about to come up with, and then the governor already said it. Human life is priceless. But what we're doing right now is putting a price on it by opening up early. By opening up early, you're putting a price on life, because now you're saying that activating the economy is more important than putting the people at danger and at risk to die. That's what that's saying. Now, I know it's a lot of people that's saying, yo, scared tactics. Scare tactics somewhere right now. I think it's in, I don't want to give y'all the wrong information, man. I ain't put that down. But y'all know what I'm talking about. Somewhere these cats is out there protesting the lock-in with guns. Now, of course, their skin ain't my color, because you already know they would already probably went to war against them. So, yeah, these cats is out there. They tactical gear, armor, artillery, protesting the lock-in in the city, at the city hall, in the government buildings, with the ratchets. Y'all don't know what ratchets is. Guns, firearms, you know what I mean? Artillery, arsenal, the thing, the shtick, whatever you want to call it. They in there, in the government buildings with the thing, like, yo, we protesting. Got a right to carry. Right now, you got to do your best. You got to do what's in your best interest. Money is not more important than a human life. Human life is priceless. You can't put no price on it. Once it's gone, it ain't no coming back. This ain't the movies. This is real life. You got one shot. You gotta make it count. This is it, man.
Go down! It's go down! Many instrumentals in a rental. They tried to put a Ruger to your temple. Fuck the shooter, I'm eager to know essential. Gun on your wisdom tooth, coincidental. Bag of drugs, opening, opiates, coking it. Come at me appropriate, so be it. Soon we rush in, Soviet Union hustling. I'm in the booth on this Newman cussing. Discussing ways on how I pin it. Get a scale, I got stuff to weigh while I'm in it. Punchlines, slick stuff to say, I invented. Sorry if I fuck up your way, if I offended. The forefathers down to the rookie. The world know I go harder, look how long it took me. We spit a different lingual. Plug don't like my music cause the nigga bilingual. Fred the God and King Flow, you know.
Alright. Now, y'all know, since I can remember, they have been painting the picture of Russia as the enemy to us, the enemy of the United States. Excuse me, you know what I mean? It's black power, red, black, green, you know what I mean? So they've been painting Russia as the enemy to the U.S., the enemy to Syria, unless they could get something out of it, the enemy to everybody, enemy to the world. That's how they paint Russia. I don't got that much history with Russians, but any Russian I met, like any person I ever met, they treated me with respect. You know what I mean? They treated me with the respect that I demanded and I deserved, and I did the same. Male or female. Same time, I know the people in Russia, they be under pressure. You will recognize that when you live under pressure. And me and my people's been under pressure. So when I start hearing the story of the people in Russia and how they move, their beliefs, I can recognize in them the same thing that I recognize in me and my people's baby. That's all I'm saying. Then I'm gonna get into this. So to give y'all some context. Yeah. Now, Russia There's a third Russian doctor mysteriously falls out of a window in Moscow, in Russia. Yeah, I said third, three, trade, tres, trio, triplets. Not one. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't have looked up if it was like, yo, one. You know, they try to paint the picture like, you know, somebody committed suicide. Maybe that might have happened. Two. Just now. Three. Hold up, man. Three. All right. Let me stop playing around. I just wanted y'all to. This is where my mind goes. Pause. I'm in Moscow, according to CNN. You know I rock with CNN. Them boys is good over there. It's the NFN network. The Newsflash network. NFN. Dunny Brown. Now, 3 frontline healthcare workers have mysteriously fallen out of hospital windows in Russia over the past 2 weeks, heightening public attention to the working conditions for doctors and medical professionals amid the coronavirus pandemic. 2 of those healthcare workers are dead, and 1 remains hospitalized. All 3 incidents, which are being investigated by Russian law enforcement authorities, have prompted intense discussion in the Russian press and on social media. Alexander Shulpov, an ambulance doctor in Bronx, a city about 320 miles south of Moscow, is in serious condition after falling from a hospital window on Saturday. Local state television, citing regional health officials, said he fell out of the 2nd floor window of the Novosmanskaya hospital where he worked and was receiving treatment after testing positive for coronavirus. Shulpov was hospitalized for coronavirus on April 22nd, the same day he and his colleague Alexander Kosaikin posted a video online saying that Shulpov had been forced to continue working after testing positive for coronavirus. Kosaikin had previously criticized hospital administration for protective gear shortages on his social media and was questioned by the police for allegedly spreading fake news. As coronavirus hits record numbers in Russia, this is a dangerous moment for Putin. As coronavirus hits record numbers in Russia, you would think it's dangerous. I mean, they've been trying to keep this a secret for some time now. You know, it's been on the hush, just like how in China, they're saying that they was blanketing the numbers, meaning, padding the numbers, meaning that we wasn't getting the accurate counts, not knowing the full story, therefore not able to prepare correctly, not helping themselves or anybody else. So Kosaikin confirmed these details to CNN in the interview. Now, Shulpov is in an intensive care unit, and as far as I know, in a serious condition. Last time I spoke to him was on 30th April. We checked in with each other. Kosaikin told CNN he felt fine. He was getting ready to get discharged from the hospital, and all of a sudden this happened. It's not clear why and what for. So many questions that I don't even have the answers to. The regional department of Russia's health ministry told CNN in a statement that Shulpov is a victim of an accident due to his own lack of caution and is receiving all necessary medical care. So one jumps from the window, two jumps from the window, and the third jumps from the window. And they're claiming that the state that he's in is, you know, because he wasn't cautious. And that's what happened. His lack of caution made him fall out the window. And now he's receiving the necessary medical care. All right. So police have not responded to CNN's request for the comment as of yet. The Novosmanskaya Hospital said in a statement that Shopov had been taken off his shift as soon as he informed the hospital administration about his positive diagnosis and was offered hospitalization in the infectious diseases ward. 3 days later, Shopov retracted his previous statement, saying that in his video with Kasaitin, he was overwhelmed by emotions. In the second video Shopov recorded featured Igor Portman, the head doctor of the Novosmanskaya Hospital, who said his medical staff has enough protective equipment. Now, I don't know about y'all, but something don't sound right. What we talking about here, man? So, I can't call it now. Listen, don't come after me. It's bigger fishes in the sea, you feel me? It's bigger fishes in the sea, it is. This is not looking good. I mean, it's on all of the networks, on all of the entire internet. And it's just like, you know, story was one way before his accident. The story is another way after his accident. I'll let y'all watch this. You determine for yourself, man. But listen, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for rocking with me. I appreciate all the love and support, man. Please continue to support the team. All the information's in the description box. Make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing the videos. Make sure y'all subscribe. Hit the bell for the notifications so we right on top of it when we drop something else. That we're gonna have. We're gonna make sure that we stay in tune with y'all. I'm gonna make sure that I tap in. Excuse me. I'm gonna make sure that I tap in and check with y'all on a more frequent basis with more regularity, so that, you know, we once again, like I said, we can't. We're in the stage right now. We at a time right now where we can't lose time. Where we gotta use time. You can't sit on nothing. Don't wait for anything. Anything that you wanted to do or you ever thought about doing, you feel like doing, it just should be done now. At the same time, you gotta be preparing. I need y'all to stay focused, stay safe. I need y'all to be thinking for yourself. You know what I mean? Yo, I'm proud of y'all for I know it wasn't easy staying in the house. For those of y'all that did, I know it wasn't easy. But it was something that was needed. It was something that was necessary. You know what I mean? Regardless, like I said, regardless of whatever the reason was that was causing our peoples to go at an alarming rate to the point where in a few weeks we have lost over 71,000 people in the United States. Whatever it was that was causing that. If the best thing that we could have did was stay out the way and in the house, stay inside. I'm inside. If that was the best thing that we could have did, then so be it. All these people, yo, like, what's the price of a life? I think about that when y'all rushing out here, back out to these nail salons and the hair shops, the barber shops, and you know, the beaches. wherever it is y'all y'all feel like the bars, the parties, wherever it is y'all feel like y'all just gotta be at, packed in, poor ventilation. Y'all think about that. You know what I mean? Because like, another thing to think about too, even if you ain't getting sick and you up and you doing it, you don't know if it could be on you, in you, and you transport it to somebody you know and love who can't handle that shit. You know what I mean? That's another reason, that's one of my other motivations for staying in. A lot of my people got underlying issues. You know what I mean? Fighting cancer, recovering from this, heavy asthma, diabetes. You know what I mean? Can't take that chance. I'm not taking that chance. And I would suggest y'all don't take that chance either. It's just Dunny Brown from the NFN. Dunny Brown, Newsflash Network. Make sure y'all tap in. You know what I mean? Tell a friend. Love is love. Stay safe, stay healthy, man. We love y'all.
Now, ever since the pandemic broke out, Russia was seemingly less affected. The numbers were far less when compared to the countries that were hard hit. But now COVID-19 cases in Russia are growing faster than European nations. The lack of protective gear is driving doctors to commit suicide, even as the mystery surrounds the extent of fatalities among frontline workers. Our next report tells you more.
This is Alexander Shulapov, a 37-year-old experienced ambulance doctor. He has been repeatedly raising alarms about a chronic lack of protective gear. Along with his co-workers, he has warned authorities about medics facing intolerable pressures. Just days ago, in a video message, he said he was ordered to work despite testing positive. Shulapov decided to end his life and jumped out of a hospital window. He is now fighting for his life with head injuries. Lying on the hospital bed, Alexander made a second video retracting his claims amidst suspicions that he was pressured to do so, even as his colleague was summoned by the police for charges of spreading fake news. It's the third time that a Russian doctor chose to commit suicide during the pandemic. 2 senior women doctors died recently after falling from hospital windows. They too had challenged their superiors over a lack of PPE for COVID-19 patients. This even as Russia's single-day infection count went past 10,000, the fastest growing rate in Europe. The death toll is now near 1,300. Capital Moscow has emerged as a hotspot. The city's mayor says that 2% of the population has been hit estimatedly. That's more than 250,000 people. Moscow's mayor also admitted that more than 2,000 frontline workers have been infected. But so far, the Russian government has not given a clear picture on how many of them have died. Corona warriors in Russia are collapsing under government pressure. While more than 200,000 people are under medical supervision across the country on suspicions of contracting COVID-19. The gravity of the situation seems to be weighing on President Vladimir Putin too, which in his own words remains, quote-unquote, very difficult. Bureau Report, we on World is One.
Yo, what up? Dunny Brown, 1/3 of the trio from Fork Outta Here podcast show. You know what I mean? With Stuck B, DJ Kruger, and myself. Fork Outta Here. I mean, salute. You know me, it's your homie. I would give y'all a little more energy. You know what I mean? I would typically be doing this in a different form and fashion, but it's to y'all. It's right now that I come to y'all with a little bit of sad news. You know what I mean? Just to, you know, some of y'all might know, some of y'all might not know as of yet. You know what I mean? But yesterday we lost a young recording artist, young hip hop recording artist by the name of King Shooter. Start getting into it. King Shooter, this was Dave East, young homie, young protege. His right hand, left hand, you know what I mean? Typically, if you've seen East, you've seen King Shooter, you've seen Shooter. I mean, this young man had a promising career as a recording artist. All of his joints was bubbling already. Yeah, I mean, out there, you already know. For those of y'all that don't know, they rap. Listen, I'm from Brooklyn. You know we give it up all day. You know the vibes. But this young man was, you know what I mean, if it's any other place, well, I ain't gonna say if it's any other place, all the boroughs get it going. But this place right here is like it's something in the water out there, B. The amount of different successful artists that done came and was birthed out of the Queens borough. That right there is probably something that could be put in the Guinness book, let alone QU. All of the different MCs and artists, but let alone NQU. There was another one place that was real prominent with the artists and the MCs. You know what I mean? Get y'all people like Roxanne, Shantae. I'm Shantae. You know what I mean? People like Maul D, the infamous Maul. You know what I mean? Not to mention Godson. You know what I mean? Godson, Nasir Jones. I mean, so this young man, he was already, like I said, it must be something in the water out there. He grew up as a Queensbridge baby drinking and so. Yep. He had it. The boy was touched. He was, like I said, he was a good dude. Let me stop joking around. He was, but you know, anybody that know me know that when we lose someone that we love, a loved one, love lost, you already know I got big love for the family. I mean, big up to Cece. Big up to Bronx, big up to Charmel. I mean, some of the names and faces I know from the family. I mean, love, prayers, blessings, and my condolences to y'all and the family, all the friends. Back on topic, yo. And I said, something in the water out there. This young man grew up drinking it. Ball game was right. The planets aligned. He was with the right people, was in the right team, and things was looking good for him. But what we want to get into also, it's very unfortunate that we lost this young man at such a young age with so many different things ahead of him. So many things yet to do. You know what I mean? But even though, if you take a look at his gram, you take a look at his post, you already know he was living life already. Bouncing around the world, doing shows, living his dream, you know what I mean? Doing what he wanted to do and finding a way out of the hood, off of these streets, which is what I hope and pray for any young man, young women coming from these ghettos, these ghettos over here in America, KKK. I mean, because it's real out here. It's not easy for a young black man. So once again, condolences, prayers, and blessings to the family and friends of King Shooter. Y'all find out his real name soon enough. I ain't gonna toss it around. What I really wanted to get on here and talk to y'all about, or just let the world know, is unfortunate that we lost him. Sad occasion, yes. But I'm thankful that he wasn't taken by the streets. I'm gonna take this liberty. I'm gonna take this liberty and speak for the family. They haven't released the official statement through me as of yet. I asked around, but this is real. It's fresh right now. I really don't even typically like to ask, but I know enough to know that he wasn't taken by the streets. Wasn't no wild drug forays, experimenting and trying and doubling. It wasn't that. You know what I mean? He didn't die from drugs. The young man had an underlying health issue. It wasn't from, also let me say this, it wasn't from the coronavirus, CV-19, COVID-19. It wasn't from that. The young man had another health issue that, you know what I mean, that he was battling, going round for round with. A lot of y'all, some of us might not know that because on the face of it, he was still focused on living his life to the best that he could, with the greatest quality of life that he could while he could. And he did that. Salute. So basically, like I said, my main objective of putting this out is not for the clicks, not for the views. Because I knew about this for over 24 hours, you know what I mean? My main objective for this was like, you know what I mean, just to show love and salute this young man. You know what I mean? He was a good dude. He always showed love to me when I seen him. Oh, yo, homie, thanks for them shirts. Rock on it. Yo, if y'all, matter of fact, if y'all seen my video on Everglades, USA, I got the gray plaid shirt on. I ain't trying to talk about myself or my wares, my clothes, but I got the gray plaid shirt on. Plaid gray on the front with the black on the back. And the young homie tossed me that shit. He was like, yo, big homie, what I'm gonna do with it? It's like, yes. Good looking, bro. Good looking. You know what I mean? But like I said, he's a respectful young man. But I mean, I know some of y'all gonna hear his music, see his image, and y'all gonna think one way. But y'all know me. Y'all know how I get down. I'm all about family first. I mean, staying loyal and true to friends. And you already know. The energy ain't right. We just don't do it. Regardless of how you see this young man image or how the world might try to paint him or what you might think of on your own, I'm going to let you know he was a good dude. He had a good heart. He was always respectful when I seen him. Good dude, man. Sorry to have lost him so soon. I got a bunch of his joints in my playlist. I suggest y'all go put his joints in your playlist. He got joints all over the place. King Shooter, that's with 2 eyes. King Shooter. You catch him doing his dolo thing out there running around in Queen streets. Man, I'm about to show y'all some flicks. I seen the boy in Dubai feeding giraffes. Talking about he was going to bring Toys R Us back, which is what we need because we can't be doing all this shopping for these kids online. Man. I need to take these babies to the store. It was make you feel good. Take your baby to the store, let it pick something out. I gotta do that on. Anyway, we're gonna talk about all that. You know the focus here. Pardon. Rest in peace to the young king, the young god, the young lord, King Shooter. Prayers and blessings to his family. Condolences extended. I'm here for I'm here for y'all, B. I know y'all got a big family y'all can lean on, but we here for y'all too. Anything y'all need, reach out, let the peoples know, B. I'm gonna get into some. I'm gonna let y'all see a few images of this young man, of the young lord. Also, I'm gonna play a couple of one of his joints. Yeah, I mean, I was working on it. Was working the powers. I was working the channels to get him and East on the show, you know. We're gonna still talk to some people from his camp after they handle their healing. You know, they get a little further along with their healing process. You know, we're gonna respect the family, give them their time and space, everything they need. So once again, make sure y'all putting him in your playlist. King Shooter, Dave East. Big up to the whole Mass Appeal family over there. Street Dream fam, you know what I mean? I know this is a heavy loss for y'all, man. It's heavy out in Queensbridge. Also, before we get out of here, I want to ask, listen, y'all know, like I know, NYPD, the PD in any state, they do different for our people as opposed to people whose skin ain't the same color as ours. They do different. We know that. Just recently here in New York City, there was a funeral for a rabbi. My man Bronx was touching on in his live yesterday. I seen I had said I was tuned in, tapped in. It was a funeral for a rabbi, some type of situation where they were sending them off, and the people came out completely violating the social distancing or physical distancing laws and orders that's put in place. And, you know, it wasn't nothing crazy that went on. This went on. Some of the people left. You know, at the end of the day, it still was chaos. You know, they had to start shutting it down because it turned into a chaotic situation, which it should have never have been. I'm looking at the footage. Of course, now, this young man I told you from Queensbridge, I believe that might be the largest housing development, New York City housing development that exists. It's a lot of buildings, a lot of space. The young man was high profile. A lot of people were definitely going to be looking to show love and show their respects, whether they come in to drop candle. Well, let me just paint the picture for you. I should have had the footage from my man Bronx live. Hey, yo, go to my man Bronx live. Check him out, and you can see some of the footage. But anyway, I'm painting the picture for you. It was at least over 40 cops out there in the middle of the basketball court with their masks on, standing off with that standoff energy, looking at the homies as they placing candles and just, you know, about the process of grieving. It didn't look like it was no wild crowds out there. I'm quite sure it was a few bodies passing back and forth, and it was more activity than normal, as to be expected. You ain't supposed to be all on the set like that, man. Intimidating the people, applying the pressure. I ain't gonna spend too much time on this. My hopes and even touching on this is that both sides is hearing, listening, and understanding that we don't need no type of friction or negative energy surrounding this loss or affecting the family in this time of grieving. So, NYPD, the mayor's office, whoever, I hope everybody that need to see this and could give these people the respect and space that they need to deal with the loss of their loved one, man. Big up to the entire family over there. You know what I mean? Big up to everybody out in Queensbridge, the whole 5 boroughs, everybody. I was just already looking at some footage to put up for y'all and already seen, you know what I mean? Somebody's like, yo, they've been a fan of the young homie from his first song. So he was on the radar. People was watching. He was on the come up. Outside of the celebrities, outside of the rappity rap, like I said, this was somebody's brother, somebody's nephew, somebody's cousin, somebody's loved one, somebody's friend, somebody's significant other, somebody's road dog. A lot of people's favorite MC. You know what I mean? I can't front. I never do. The boy got talent. Like I said, put him in your playlist. King Shooter. Rest in peace. Rest in power, man. He was loved and will be missed. Salute. Yo, check out these flicks. Check out this music. You already know. Tap in, man. Put him in your playlist. King Shooter. You ain't fucking with us. We ain't fucking with you. Y'all know what you can do. Fuck out of here. Salute, man. Rest in peace. Rest in power.
Tonight, we're going inside one community with some of the strictest closures and curfews in the entire country, and here's why. The Navajo Nation has one of the highest rates of infection in the U.S., and sadly, with few resources and little infrastructure, it's one of the least equipped to handle a health crisis like the one we're in right now. Our Matt Gutman reports on the unique challenges the Navajo and many indigenous people now face.
Dr. Sri Shamasunder has been practicing emergency medicine from the back of a car.
How's your breathing? That's good.
but there are limits to what this team can do.
So EMS has just showed up because the gentleman is telling the folks here at COPE and Dr. Shree that he's got shortness of breath, asthma, and they're trying to decide whether or not he needs to be hospitalized at this point. Everybody here is under investigation for COVID.
And COVID-19 is surging through the Navajo community, suffering one of the highest infection rates per capita in the country. The peak weeks away. Dr. Sriram is the co-founder of the HEAL initiative at the University of San Francisco.
I think with the Native population, it is similar to what we've seen vulnerable patients all over the country in terms of whether it's Black or Latinx population in the Bay Area, they are more susceptible. And in New Mexico, the Native Americans only make up 5% of the population, but they make up 20% of the COVID positive patients.
He's teaming up with locals like the COPE program's Nitumagabo Champagne. They're doing rounds at this motel in Gallup, New Mexico, where the unsheltered and the sick can go to get off the street and away from extended families.
So mostly the headaches bothering you? Yeah. No, any blurry vision?
No. Eric Joe, who's a grandfather, talking with us through that broken mask.
Yes, I was worried about my family, but like I told you, I called. They're doing okay.
Okay. The virus has claimed dozens of Navajo elders and even some of its young. Former Miss Western Navajo, Valentine Blackhorse, was a mother of a 1-year-old daughter. She died this week after testing positive for COVID-19. She was 28 years old. Navajo President Jonathan Nez says his tribe has to rely primarily on itself. It's one reason he's instituted one of the strictest shelter-at-home orders in the country, and during the weekend, curfew.
Flatten that curve, lessen the virus here, and really stop the virus. And the creative way we're doing this is by putting a shelter-in-place order, and we're also putting the curfews Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. Weekends, 57-hour curfew.
Historically, the U.S. government hasn't helped much, breaking dozens of promises with Native American tribes. And Congress has approved $8 billion for tribal assistance, but that money has to be split amongst 574 tribes.
Sometimes it goes through the federal agencies before it gets to the tribe, or it goes through the state before it gets to the tribe. We're using that same process, and we have to wait, and we have to submit for these fundings. But the need is now.
It's estimated that about 30% of the people who live on the Navajo reservation do not have access to running water, which is why they use pumps like this. And that makes the constant hand washing necessary during a COVID outbreak that much more difficult.
At that pump, we met with Elmer, who was there to get water.
During the time of COVID, everybody's worried. You got to wash your hands, clean all the time. When you don't have running water, does it make it that much harder?
Yes, it does. And for little children to wash up daily, to have them clean daily is a problem. And they love to play outdoors.
Since early March, grassroots groups have worked to provide food and water. The Navajo and Hopi family COVID-19 relief effort raising over $1 million. Setting up this makeshift hand-washing station and distributing it around the reservation.
It's just one fix to address the hygiene issue. Don't wait until people are sick, because the conditions that are making people more sick and more at risk are right out on the street.
Navajo Nation is larger than West Virginia, but its population of about 300,000 has access to only about 20 ICU beds on the reservation. The Indian Health Service says they've had to build additional temporary hospital beds to prepare for a modeling prediction of over 200 additional patients a day and over 100 ICU-level patients across the area. In the vastness of the reservation under the shadow of Chimney Butte is where Michelle Tom grew up.
Actually, you can see where I'm from. It's called Chajani Aha.
Also without running water or power. She's now the only Navajo emergency physician at this urgent care clinic in Winslow, Arizona.
You're getting people pulling up to this parking lot. They have to be intubated here, even though this is not technically an ICU or a hospital. It's an urgent care.
Yes.
And then the only way to save their lives is to get a helicopter here.
Yes.
And then what?
We don't know. We don't have access to them anymore, and that's where the disconnect, and that's where the hard part it is for us. Especially for me, if I know, everyone knows everyone. And I think I hear it more so because I have relatives and we all know who's not doing so well. And as soon as they leave that chopper, they're no longer in our hands.
She says the closest ICU facility where she can send her patients is at least 1 hour away by chopper or up to 3 hours in an ambulance.
I said I was going to come home after all my medical training and so forth. I essentially am home.
So you wanted to come back here,
yeah.
And Winslow's home, and that's why you feel it's important to be here.
Yes.
Of course, it's no longer a hospital. And growing up, Tom says she never saw a medical professional with a face like her own.
How does that make people feel that they don't get medical consultation, they don't see people like them as their medical providers?
Well, I can only talk from personal experience, right? Sometimes there's a disconnect when language and cultures are not meeting. We know that just by studies and even by experience, you're not going to have the best health care.
That's not from a lack of effort.
I was doing car triage yesterday, and I would say we had about 15 cars. You know, and
that's car triage. You're just going up to the window
by itself. Just me on my shift in the car triage.
Wow.
And that's not counting Little Colorado Medical Center, who is an ER. That's not counting ones that bypass me to go urgent care.
Huh.
So these are presumptive cases. So.
And the other issue is that, this is a matriarchal society, and people live in a community, and sometimes it's 6, 7, 10 people living in a house or a household, and people are catching it quickly.
Yeah.
Is that the case?
So that pretty much, along with like the healthcare access, right? We also have that multi-generation. We do.
Yeah.
And that's part of our origin studies. That's how we are as a people, that our community comes first. Our people come first. These are our neighbors. These are our relatives. These are our brothers and sisters. So when we're telling them to go home and isolate, they're isolating with a people. And that's even for myself.
She left her family and moved to an apartment an hour away to try to minimize the risk of infecting the group of people she's trying to save.
My job is immensely hard because I have such a connection to my people and to my land. Our elders, our teachers, our protectors, they hold all of the key elements that we need to have a strong sense of identity.